What's cooking, YouTube? UncleSole here. Welcome back to another initial thought. This time on probably the most hated shoe in 2026, the GT Cut Force. Before we get started, remember to hit that like and subscribe button so you don't miss anything from UncleSole. So it's no surprise if you search on the internet that the GT Cut Force is one of the most hated shoe, and you might ask, Uncle, why are you reviewing this thing? It's a Western shoe and it doesn't seem like it's worth it. There was once a very hated shoe across the board, across the platform, and that is the GT Cut 2s. Whoever grind through the break-in period for these shoes are rewarded with one of the best, most comfortable one-to-one, high-performing fit ever. UncleSole also did that. Not only did he do that, he also changed the insole from that shitty React insole to this great boom thin insole that elevated this shoe to be one of my favorite shoes of all time. Instead of talking about the normal performance of the shoe, I'm gonna highlight certain key potential deal breakers that I think no matter how you try to break this in, it just won't change. So let's get started. The elephant in the room is the upper, the fit of the shoe. So I'll tell you, the GT Cut 4 used the old Nike shoe mode, specifically around the KD4 era. Most reviewers are having a lot of issues with the fit, including heel slippage or pinching in the front. UncleSole is one of the fortunate ones that the shoe mode fits me one-to-one. However, let me start with this. The shoe runs long. You have to go half a size down. With half a size down, heel slippage goes away, but then this part becomes the huge problem. Are you going to fit this? If you go half a size down and any pinching happens, don't get the shoe. It doesn't fit you. It won't break in. This does not expand any further. When you start flexing your shoe in game, if there's any pinching on this side, it can break in. I can tell you it broke in for me after about an hour, painfully. The tongue also break in, but about 10 minutes, it breaks in. Second point, no matter how good the fit is, there's micro movements in the shoe. Unlike the other GT Cuts, I don't think this will ever mold into your foot because the upper is just too stiff. Finally, this outrigger. This is an interesting design choice by Nike. The idea for this outrigger is actually very smart, but the execution was horrible. The GT Cut Force, the designer realized that this is a very high off the ground shoe. And if you have a flat outrigger, what happens when you have a high center of gravity shoe is lateral, no matter how good the lateral containment is, when that outrigger hits the ground, it's going to curl in and underneath you, which basically renders the outrigger ineffective. So how the designer fixed that problem is to raise the outrigger. So when you land on a hard lateral cut, the high center of gravity here allows you to curl slightly this way, and this outrigger presses down as you sink your foot into the Zoom X. So that's why there is rubber here, because this outrigger essentially becomes part of the outsole that hits the ground and allows you to correct a roll if it happens. This great idea was cut short because this is not far enough. Like an explicit outrigger, this has a tipping point. Once you get past this point, it actually helps you roll your ankle. How this should have been fixed is if you reference the WOW 11s, they have a raised up outrigger that is extremely wide. If you pass the tipping point, your foot would have been like this already. There is no saving it. They needed to have a much more protruding, hanging outrigger so that the user can't get past the tipping point. With that, UncleSole will continue to break in the GT Cut Force. This shoe isn't unplayable like a lot of reviewers said, but it certainly isn't the best from Nike basketball. I'm praying that my experience change with more reps in these, but I really can't see how these will ever become like the GT Cut 1s or the 2s, where I simply just love the performance of it, even though it took me hours upon hours to break them in. As always, remember to stretch.